up on the April 15th edition of Sports Extra. It's football season again in Chapel Hill. We'll have all the updates from the Spring Fling in Keenan.
Think you've got what it takes to suit up as Ramses? Stick around and find out.
And don't worry, Steve Urkel's not running onto the desk, but family matters to this men's lacrosse player. All that and much more. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
Spring is in the air throughout Chapel Hill, including with the football team. Hello and welcome to the April 15th edition of Sports Extra, Carolina's only sports, highlights, analysis, and issues show. I'm Natalia Perez.
And I'm Allie Massione. One thing guaranteed at the football game this weekend, Carolina was going to win. The Heels brought the hype into Keenan Stadium on Saturday. Quarterback Bryn Renner led the veteran-heavy blue team with 216 passing yards and 3 scores. And senior defensive end Kareem Martin broke through the line repeatedly, recording 4 sacks. The blue team won easily, 34-10. But the day wasn't just about current players, as former standout Heels like Jonathan Cooper and Gio Bernard spent the day in Chapel Hill. With the excitement generated by the spring game, Martin says it's easy to be optimistic about Coach Larry Fedora's second season.
Year 2, I think we're going to be a lot faster than what we were last year because we know the defense a lot better. Guys played in it already, and I think this defense has potential to be a top 20, top 10 defense in the country.
Freshman tailback Chris Francis's talent wasn't the only thing unveiled in Keenan Saturday. With all the festivities that revolved around the spring game, one announcement will change Carolina football history.
Luis Fernandez has more about the Tar Heels' new look.
The sun was shining brightly as Carolina fans from across the state came out to see the Tar Heels have their spring game. With all the touchdowns and highlight plays, one announcement captured the spotlight. The University of North Carolina revealed its new Nike-sponsored uniforms for the 2013 football season. The players will wear them throughout the season. The uniforms include a Carolina blue top with black numbers and a white top with black numbers as well. In addition, officials revealed an all-black alternate uniform as part of the Tar Pit collection. So, what did players think about it?
I'm happy to have something new in here. Usually it's about tradition, and I'm happy to switch it up a little bit.
Senior quarterback Bryn Renner got a little sneak preview of the new uniforms.
I love them. I got to preview them for the highlight video, so I saw them before everybody else and couldn't really say anything. But great. I thought they were great.
Freshman running back Chris Francis had a difficult time finding words.
They are awesome. I'm speechless.
The most important question, though, which one is your favorite?
Gotta love the blacks, the all black.
All blacks were the best ones, though. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to put those on when we have that Thursday night against Miami.
Carolina fans can't wait either, Chris. In Chapel Hill, I'm Luis Fernandez.
The all-black uniforms were inspired by the black tar in the Carolina logo.
And joining us now is someone who knows a thing or two about fashion, Mike Rodriguez. Thanks for joining us. So, Mike, what are your thoughts about the new jerseys?
You know, Allie, I'm actually not a huge fan. I do like the All Blacks, just like the players you just heard, and, most of the fans. But the rest of them are just kind of remind me a little bit too much about the Carolina Panthers.
I'd have to say that I'm a fan, but, on Saturday there were a lot of former players on the sidelines, players who are going to the NFL. How did the Heels fill those big shoes?
Well, I think you have to talk about Giovanni Bernard first. Yeah, he has possibly the fastest shoes to fill, at least. And I really like Chris Francis. He had 20 carries, 101 yards, and really just shredded the defense. I like the energy he has. And on the defensive side, they have to fill Kevin Reddick, linebacker, Sylvester Williams, the defensive tackle, who's probably going to go in the first round, and Kareem Martin. He's a defensive end. He's neither of those two positions, but he had 4 sacks. He was all over the field Saturday.
And what do you think we can expect from the Tar Heels in Fedora's second season as head coach?
You know what? I really like the chances. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say 10-2. I don't think they're losing to South Carolina either. That might be an easy one. But I think Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, they'll lose those 2 games. But that's it.
I'm looking forward to that opening game against the Gamecocks. Thanks, Mike. That was Mike Rodriguez live in the studio. And we hope he's better at predicting success for the football team than he was at picking a basketball bracket.
Saturday's spring game was a great environment to compete for a starting role.
And not just for players, Catherine Fitzgerald has the story.
Not every Tar Heel knows it, but there are tryouts to be Ramses.
The tryout process, 3-step process The first step is an interest meeting.
Let's go.
Second part of it is a preliminary tryout round in the suit, 30 minutes in the suit.
This year, the third step for 5 finalists coincided with spring game. Contestants had to be conscious of the oddities of dressing as a giant ram while maintaining the prestige of our proud mascot.
Ramses has big feet, a big head, limited sight, but he has a big presence.
And in line with tradition, once selected, our new Ramses will keep their real identity a secret. Our 4 current mascots find this is the best way to focus on the spirit of Ramses, rather than who's under that 5-pound head.
Like, somebody's in that suit, but you still choose for it to be Ramses and him to be his own being.
Between managing the costume and being our university's top ambassador, there's a lot for the new mascot to think about. As our senior Ramses prepares to leave, he is focusing on passing on a tradition.
Continue the legacy is really the biggest thing. You always want a smooth transition.
As for the next Ramses, your guess is as good as mine. In Chapel Hill, I'm Catherine Fitzgerald.
We did note that no one saw Catherine in the stands during the tryouts. Very suspicious.
That leads to this week's hidden stat. When dry, the Ramses suit weighs 30 pounds, but the suit is typically drenched in sweat and thus weighs between 40 and 45 pounds. It takes a minimum of 15 minutes for Ramses to get dressed by himself. If he has assistance, it can happen in about 5.
Another up and down weekend for the men's tennis team, with the Heels splitting their 2 home matches. UNC beat Miami 5-2 Friday, winning the doubles point and getting 4 single-match wins from Esmond Hess-Olsen, Nelson Vick, William Parker, and Oystein Stayro. But 2 days later, the Heels were unable to get their 3rd victory in the ACC against Florida State. They lost the doubles point after leading on 2 of the 3 courts. Coach Sam Paul says losing the doubles point broke the momentum for the Heels and made them come out slower in singles play.
I mean, that's frustrating. There's no doubt about that. Anytime you lose, I would say it's frustrating, And I don't really think Florida State played a good match, played a solid match. We did not play one of our better matches today in singles. So we'll watch the videotape and get the guys in to watch it. And so that's frustrating, no doubt about it.
The Heels will try to bounce back against Wake Forest Friday in Winston-Salem.
A difficult weekend for the women's tennis team, but the Heels survived. The ladies solidified their #1 ranking after they swept away 10th-ranked Miami 5-2 Friday, getting some revenge after their loss in Miami in last season's NCAA tournament. Carolina also beat Florida State Sunday and are now 21-2, 7-1 in conference. The Heels take on Duke this Wednesday. And now head coach Brian Calvis leads the Heels. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So we have a few questions for you today. The first is you played 2 really tough teams on their own courts this weekend. How did you prepare for that tough doubleheader?
Well, that's the 2 toughest places to play. On the road, and you have to fly between the 2, so it's travel-wise. But the competition is really, really tough. So what we did, we have 9 girls on the team. We have 3 freshmen, 3 seniors, and we call 3 others, 2 juniors and 1 sophomore. So what we did all week is provide some competition between the different classes and see what class was the most competitive group. And so far, the freshmen are in the lead. But I think it got us in the right mindset for these 2 matches, and because we had to outcompete these 2 teams in the really difficult environments.
That's good. You got to keep them on their toes.
Yeah, it worked. It definitely worked. It helped us kind of be sharp.
You guys are #1 in the country right now, so you can't really hide during the ACC and NCAA tournaments. How are you guys going to go into those with a target on your back?
Well, it's been 9 weeks straight where we've been #1, so we feel like we've gotten everybody's best shot, for the last 9 weeks. But I think we're trying to understand that we're not a #1 program that's ever won a national championship, so we feel we have a lot to prove. A lot of teams don't look at us as a national title contender, but that's something that we have a little chip on our shoulders to kind of prove that we are. So that's kind of what we're gunning for the rest of the season.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you this season. This Tar Heel track star keeps things all in the family.
We'll bring you her and her brother's story after the break.
Connect with us online by liking the Sports Extra Facebook page. and following us on Twitter @SportsExtra_UNC.
Now it's time for This Week in Bad Stats.
Bad stats?
Horrible stats. Here goes. 132.
That's how many batters struck out 4 times in one game last season.
Wow, very good. Here's a tough one, though. 3 and 4.
No idea.
That's how many kids have witnessed bullying. 3 out of 4.
That's not a good stat.
No, it's not, but it can change. Kids want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov and give them the tools they need to help prevent bullying.
There are plenty of safe ways kids can help at Stop.
Connect with us online by liking the Sports Extra Facebook page and following us on Twitter @SportsExtra_UNC.
Now it's time for This Week in Bad Stats.
Bad stats?
Horrible stats. Here goes. 100.
Run a sub 4-minute mile. To this day, the teammate who beat him in that race is the only Tar Heel to ever run a faster mile than McAfee did.
UNC honored McAfee's milestone by naming the mile race in Saturday's Joe Hilton Invitational the McAfee Mile. Julian Caldwell reports.
No one can run a mile in his shoes, but Saturday runners ran a mile in his name. Being the first African-American to run a sub 4-minute mile is a very specific goal that Reggie McAfee had in mind more than 40 years ago before coming to UNC.
There was a lot of stereotypes that African-Americans were just sprinters, but I just enjoy running. And I just knew that it was my passion, so I decided to do what I love. And I love to run, and that was one goal that I decided I was going to go after.
It was mission accomplished in 1973, but
We apologize for those difficulties. McAfee is also the UNC record holder for the outdoor 800-meter race, which he ran in 1 minute and 47 seconds.
As the track and field team gears up for the Outdoor Conference Championships, the Heels celebrated Senior Day during their final meet of regular season. The Heels have reasons to be optimistic about the postseason after an encouraging show at the Joe Hilton Invitational on Saturday. Freshman Tori Kemp set a new personal best by almost 5 inches while winning the women's high jump. Junior Isaac Presson earned a win in the McAfee men's mile, finishing in 4 minutes and 2 seconds. Several seniors had good showings too, and Carolina will say goodbye to 10 of them after this season, including Marissa Dobbins, who has mixed feelings about her final collegiate meets.
It's just it's bittersweet to kind of see all your hard work kind of coming to an end, but it was also really neat and really special.
The Heels will head to Raleigh next week for the ACC Championship meet. And remember what it was like when you moved into campus for the first time, when you're leaving your parents behind? Well, for first-year track and field athlete Tori Kemp, that really wasn't too long ago.
But her brother, lacrosse player TJ Kemp, was already in town. Georgia Walker introduces you to the athletic siblings.
They say it runs in the family, but these Carolina siblings have unparalleled talent. TJ Kemp and his sister, Tori Kemp, are both UNC student athletes, helping each other take on the busy life on campus.
Like kind of how it is being a student athlete. So I knew just, from hearing the stories about him when I was at home and he was here, just, kind of the struggles he goes through and like how he had to assimilate to this new life. So it's been helpful.
TJ's freshman year roommate, Pat Foster, says TJ is excited to bring his family member to UNC.
Yeah, TJ was really excited to have his little sister choose Carolina like he did.
As for TJ, he has had a lacrosse stick in his hand for as long as he can remember. His athletic family has molded him into the player he is today.
Parents are pretty athletic, and so we would always be out on the field running around with mom and dad, and we had a basketball hoop outside of our house, and for me, lacrosse-wise, I had a stick when I was probably 2 years old, and I'd go there with my dad throwing around just a little guy. So it's always been around us for sure.
Tori's track coach, Josh Langley, says that they might both be athletically gifted, but their personalities are polar opposites.
They are night and day. So, and Tori tells me all the time, TJ's really laid back. She's a little more high-strung and, plans everything out. He just kind of go with the flow. And
Tori and TJ may have extremely busy lives, but they still find time to support each other and spend time off the track and lacrosse field, which makes the hectic life of a student athlete a little easier for both. In Chapel Hill, I'm Georgia Walker.
And another UNC athletics family has won 9 national championships and is hoping to add to the list soon. Carolyn Chandler has the story.
Coach Willie Scroggs is currently the Senior Associate Athletics Director of Facilities and coached the men's lacrosse team back in the late 70s and the 80s. His wife, Coach Karen Shelton, has been the head coach of the field hockey team since 1981. Here at Henry Stadium, Coach Shelton has coached the field hockey team to 6 national championships. And only a short walk away, here at Fetzer Field, Coach Scroggs led the men's lacrosse team to 3 national championships in the 1980s, and now their son William Scroggs finishes out his senior lacrosse season. The couple first met working in athletics at UNC.
Karen's office was next to mine. I had an office in the old women's gym, it was called, and Karen had an office right next to mine, and that's how we met.
Their son William now plays for Coach Joe Bresci, who played for Coach Scroggs from 1987 to 1990.
So it's cool that our son is a Tar Heel born and had the chance to go to this great school.
William admits he would like to join his parents in winning his own national championship.
It wouldn't be for my parents. It would be for like my teammates and my coaches and everyone that actually worked their hardest to get to that point. You know, we're in the hunt for a national championship this year, and we've been in the hunt every single year. We've made the playoffs, and we haven't really gone that far in the playoffs, but every year we've gotten better.
Despite all the national championships the Scroggs family has won, it's not just about winning.
So if you go about things the right way, championships are kind of a byproduct of that. So it's developing a program and trying to do the right things all the time.
And if doing the right thing leads to great success, all the better. In Chapel Hill, I'm Carolyn Chandler.
If the men's lacrosse team wins the NCAA championship game on May 27th in Philadelphia, that would be the 10th national championship win for the Scroggs family.
And in its final away match of the regular season, the men's lacrosse team came out of a hostile environment at Hofstra with the win. The Heels were slow to start and entered halftime trailing 5-4. But whatever Coach Bresci said during the half did the trick, as the team held Hofstra scoreless for the entire second half and went on an 11-0 scoring run to win 14-5.
The momentum is building for the women's lacrosse team. The Heels shook off their second loss of the season with a 16-4 win against Jacksonville Friday. On senior night, the women's lacrosse team captured its 12th win of the season. The second-ranked Heels had 12 turnovers in the first half, but held the Dolphins to just 5 shots. UNC scored 6 goals off 13 shots. In the second half, UNC outscored Jacksonville 10-1. 10 players scored at least 1 goal in the game. Abby Friend and Taylor George scored 3 goals each. Coach Jenny Levy said the team's early success came from transition goals, but also led to sloppy play.
So everyone started taking some really risky things, which is fine. We want to take risks on the field, but once we start turning it over 3, 4, 5, 12 times, it'd probably be better to stop.
Senior midfielder and team co-captain Emily Garrity played her final regular season home match Friday evening, and she joins us now to talk about her career at Carolina and her team's success. Welcome, Emily. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
What did it mean for you to score a goal and an assist on senior night of all nights?
It was special. I mean, our team is all about team play, so scoring a goal and an assist doesn't really matter that much, but on a senior night, it's always nice to get recognized.
Senior night is an important night for everyone, especially the seniors. I'm sure you felt great having those 2 opportunities. Because the ACC tournament was in Chapel Hill, or is in Chapel Hill, how do you think the team is going to respond to that home field advantage?
I think it's always nice to have a home game. You know, we prefer them, but at the same time, we don't care where we play. We're ready.
That's a good mindset to have. And UNC recently lost to undefeated Maryland. If you face the Terrapins again in the ACC tournament, how do you plan to attack that game differently?
It's about finishing everything that we do. You know, that's one thing we talked about after the Maryland game, to finish ground balls, finish your shots, finish our ride. It's all about completing everything from start to finish the whole game.
Well, if you do play them, I look forward to that match. And good luck to you and the team for the remainder of the season and the regular season for the ACC tournament as well. Thanks, Emily. That was Emily Garrity, co-captain of the women's lacrosse team. Lightning strikes the baseball team in Blacksburg
and takes a bull out of the lineup.
Thank you for calling your GED Pep Talk Center. All right, now, are you ready for your GED Pep Talk?
Being nervous is okay. It just shows that you're serious about getting your diploma.
A lot of things are scary. Heck, I'm scared of clowns.
No quiero ir. No lo puedo hacer.
DMC, life in your pep talk style.
Just keeping it real, Debs, just keeping it real.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry. I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Danse, balance, suis la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches, au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence, dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou.
You didn't give up on sex, don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
The softball team almost took the top spot in the conference this weekend. The Heels traveled to Raleigh for a 3-game series against the Wolfpack. After splitting the doubleheader on Saturday, the Heels and Wolfpack were scoreless after 5 innings in the final game of the series. Lori Spingola struck out 6 state batters. The Heels got on board in the top of the 6th inning with a solo homer from shortstop Kristen Brown. But Spingola found herself in trouble in the bottom of the 7th after a leadoff single followed by a walk. And with 2 on and no out, Spingola left the first pitch over the plate. And state shortstop sent it over the left field fence for a walk-off home run and series win. Kristen Brown knows there's room for improvement.
I think we can get more timely base hits. So base hits and then bringing the runner in, that could happen a little more. And pitching has been solid, but that was a great hit at the end, so there's nothing we can do about that. But going forward, we're going to be confident and just believe in ourselves.
The Heels head to East Carolina to take on the Pirates this Wednesday at 5 p.m.
Yet another series sweep for the Diamond Heels, this time against Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. The Heels needed extra innings Saturday to get the second win of the series, but Friday was an easy Carolina victory, and Sunday, Tar Heel pitching shut out the Hokies. It was the 6th shutout of the season for Carolina, which is now 34-2 on the season. But it wasn't all good news up in Blacksburg for the baseball team. The Heels might have gotten the sweep against the Hokies, but it came with a cost.
Injury brought down Sky Bolt, the freshman outfielder who's been hitting cleanup all season. Bolt is out indefinitely after fouling a ball off his foot in Friday's 21-8 win. Doctors diagnosed Bolt with a broken second metatarsal in his right foot and will meet with him today to determine a timetable for his return. The outfielder is batting with .392, with 6 home runs and 41 runs battled in for the Heels this season.
He's going the distance, he's going for speed.
Find out if one of your professors left others in the dust in the faculty mile.
Don't forget to tune in to our sister shows, Carolina Week at 5 p.m. every Wednesday on Time Warner 24 or Campus Channel 34, and Carolina Connection at 8:30 every Saturday morning on WCHL 97.9 FM.
Packers,
Vikings, Red State, Blue State.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
But when we live united, we create real lasting change in the education, income, and health of our country. United. Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to Sports Extra. We tried to show you a package earlier about the McAfee Mile, and we had a few technical difficulties, but we're ready to bring it to you again.
So here, Julian Caldwell reports.
No one can run a mile in his shoes, but Saturday runners ran a mile in his name. Being the first African-American to run a sub-4-minute mile is a very specific goal that Reggie McAfee had in mind more than 40 years ago before coming to UNC.
There was a lot of stereotypes that African-Americans were just sprinters, but I just enjoy running, and I just knew that it was my passion, so I decided to do what I love. And I love to run, and that was one goal that I decided I was going to go after.
It was mission accomplished in 1973. But don't confuse McAfee with a contented man.
No, I finished second, and I was upset about the fact that I finished second because I'm about finishing first.
Now McAfee instills that winning character in young people interested in distance running through the Cross Country for Youth program he started in 2006. UNC head coach Harless Metter says that's as much a reason for honoring McAfee as his historic run is.
We want to be tremendous athletes. We want to graduate, do well academically. Then we want to go out into the professional world and give back to the community. So he's doing what we're challenging all of our kids to do.
None of the runners in the McAfee Mile conquered the challenge of running a sub-4-minute mile, but McAfee says the event should still serve as inspiration.
If one looks back at your history and say, well, could I have done this or could I have done that? I always feel like the impossible is possible.
And the possible is only a mile away. In Chapel Hill, I'm Julian Caldwell.
We told you earlier about the Joe Hilton Invitational track meet this past weekend. Well, student athletes weren't the only competitors.
Madison Wade takes a look at a race featuring some more seasoned participants.
Faculty members were off to the races Saturday as they competed against each other in the first UNC Faculty Mile. Nearly a dozen faculty members participated, and for one competitor, the mile was more than a race against his peers.
This race meant a lot to my wife and I because I had Lyme disease. I would walk with a cane. I needed assistance to even get up and do menial things like go to the kitchen, go to the restroom. And this is the first time I've been able to race in a decade.
Hughes, a former college athlete, trained for 12 weeks in preparation for the event. He finished in less than 10 minutes. It's an impressive feat for any runner, but Hughes wasn't one to brag about his achievement. Students of Professor Hughes here at the School of Education didn't even know that their teacher was racing. Hughes wasn't the only participant who kept students in the dark. First place women's finisher, Lena Mosley, says she plans to bring her trophy to class to tell her students about the win.
I teach Poly 150, which is a big intro class, so I guess I'll tell them on Monday morning.
Track and field coach Harless Metter says this playful relationship between students, athletes, and faculty is what inspired him to start the mile race. Metters wasn't on the track for the race, but he says that's what's best for the other competitors.
Well, I would have ran, but I didn't think it'd be fair to everybody else. I'm so fast.
Metters will have a chance to race next year, though, and Hughes is ready to keep working towards recovery and a faster mile time.
Lyme disease leaves you with arthritis, so that's something that doesn't go away. And still some extra weight. I lost a lot of weight, but still have about 40 pounds to go to get back to my normal running weight.
And training at this rate, Hughes will be ready to run again this time next year. In Chapel Hill, I'm Madison Way.
Coach Metter says he hopes participation will be so great next year. Organizers will have to split the race into men's and women's divisions. That does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching and have a good night.